You have $600 million, and you drive a 12-year-old car. There's a small dent in the rear passenger door that you've never bothered to fix, put there years ago by a shopping cart in a grocery store lot, back when you still remembered which store. The paint on the hood has gone a little chalky under 12 summers of sun, the kind of fade you only notice in direct light, standing at the right angle. It starts every single morning on the first try. It gets you everywhere you actually need to go, and it is, by a wide, almost comical margin, the single most powerful disguise you own. More powerful than any story you could tell, any lie you could construct. The car does the lying for you silently every single day, without you having to say a word. The valet at the one nice restaurant you visit parks it last, and a little reluctantly, tucked around the side where it won't be seen next to the cars that belong. In the valet's mind, to people like you must actually be. The guy in the lifted truck at the red light doesn't glance over, because there is nothing about you to glance at. You are, from every visible angle, a person who doesn't register. Nobody suspects a thing. Because the car is doing exactly the job you quietly assigned it years ago. The first time you understood what it could do for you, it tells the entire world a small, boring, forgettable story about you, so that you never ever have to tell them the real one. Let me show you why a man who could buy any car on the planet, who has priced them out of curiosity more than once, and closed the browser tab every time, keeps the one with the dent, and what exactly that single quiet decision is protecting. People think the car is the reward. That somewhere on the climb there's a scene, a good scene, a movie scene, the kind that gets slowed down and scored with music, where you finally walk onto the lot and trade up, and the machine roars to life, and it announces the number to everyone who ever doubted you, everyone who ever looked past you at a party, everyone who ever assumed you'd amount to exactly what you looked like you'd amount to. But you figured out something a long time ago that most people never figure out at all, no matter how much money passes through their hands. The expensive car doesn't buy you status, it buys you attention, and attention is the one single thing your entire life is now quietly organized to avoid, the way some people organize their lives around avoiding a specific food, a specific street, a specific memory. The loud car is a billboard, and a billboard is an open invitation for every stranger, every neighbor, every acquaintance at a barbecue to start doing math about you, how much, from where, and what might be pried loose with the right approach, the right story, the right amount of patience. The moment you drive the number, you've told everyone the number, whether or not a single word passes your lips. And once they know it, you can never again be sure why anyone is smiling at you, why anyone laughed at that joke, why anyone offered to help carry something. So you kept the 12-year-old car, on purpose. The same way you kept everything else about your life quiet and small and unremarkable, on purpose, as a series of small daily decisions that add up to something like armor. The dent in the door isn't neglect. You've thought about it more than you'd admit to anyone, including yourself, on certain nights. The dent is strategy. The dent is a wall, built one small choice at a time that nobody else can see is a wall at all. The 600 million did not arrive in a way that would ever look good in a film. There's no montage version of this, there's just years. The first serious piece was a commercial laundry company, the kind that washes and presses linens for hotels and clinics, and never once gets thanked for it, never gets mentioned, does its work in the background of 1,000 other people's better days. $340,000 down on a business you bought from a man named Earl, who'd run it for 33 years and cared more, in the end, in the actual final negotiation, that you'd keep his people employed than that you'd pay him the last possible dollar on the table. He said as much sitting across from you in a diner booth with a folder of employment records he'd brought specifically to make his point. You kept his people, every one of them, for years afterward. You also paid him fairly. Both things were true and both things mattered, and Earl shook your hand twice before he left, like he wasn't quite sure once was enough. Hotels always need clean sheets. Clinics always need clean everything. Gowns, linens, the specific bleached whiteness that makes people trust a place with their bodies. That demand does not consult the stock market before deciding to exist tomorrow morning. It didn't consult the market during the last downturn either, when half the businesses on that same block quietly closed their doors. Then a self-storage facility off a state road bought at a price that seemed high at the time and looks, in retrospect, absurdly low. Then two more, in different towns, run by managers you'd only met over video calls for the first 2 years. Then, and this is the one people laugh at least until they see the margins, at least until you show them the actual numbers and watch their expression change, a company that does the deeply unglamorous work of maintaining and inspecting the elevators inside other people's buildings. Bought from a retiring owner who, again, cared more about his text than his exit price, who made you promise in writing that you wouldn't cut the safety inspection schedule to save money, and you never have, not once, not even in a year when cutting it would have padded the numbers nicely. Sheets, storage units, elevators, not one single thing on that list is photogenic. Not one of them would earn a second glance at a dinner party, would survive being mentioned out loud without someone's eyes going a little glassy, searching politely for the next topic. And every one of them pays, quarter after quarter after quarter, in every kind of economy, in years when the news was screaming, and years when nobody was paying attention to anything at all, while the 12-year-old car sits in a parking lot somewhere looking like it belongs to a man who is just barely getting by, which is precisely, exactly, deliberately the point. The house matches the car, comfortable, fully paid off, and deliberately, almost artfully unremarkable. The kind of house a real estate agent would describe, kindly, as solid rather than anything more flattering. The neighbor with the brand new lease in his driveway feels a small private flicker of sympathy for you every time he sees your car pull in. And that misplaced sympathy is honestly one of the quiet daily pleasures of your entire life. You would not trade it for a bigger house, a nicer car, a driveway that impressed anyone. The sympathy is worth more than the square footage ever could be. The mortgage is gone, paid off years ahead of schedule in a way that would have raised questions if you'd done it any faster. The garage holds the old car and a genuinely good set of tools that you actually use, on weekends, on the porch, on the car itself when it needs a small repair you could easily pay someone else to handle but choose, instead, to do yourself, hands in the engine, grease under the same nails that signed for $600 million. You could park anything on earth in that garage, anything at all. You park the dent. What you've learned, slowly, over many years, and then all at once on some ordinary afternoon standing in that garage with a wrench in your hand, is that the things that look like wealth and the things that build it are almost never the same things. They live in different people, point in different directions, require different instincts entirely, and the 12-year-old car in your garage is the daily physical proof that, at some point, on some specific unremarkable day you couldn't name if pressed, you finally and permanently chose the right side of that line. A man you know just leased something expensive, German, low and shining, the kind of car that makes a specific sound when the door closes, a sound engineered to feel like quality. He pulls up beside your 12-year-old car in the lot one morning, engine still ticking as it cools, and you can watch him not quite decide whether to feel good about the contrast between his machine and yours. He decides to feel good about it. Of course he does. That's exactly what the machine is for. It's not transportation, it's a verdict, delivered silently every time it's parked next to something older. And you happen to know, because these things travel in the quiet way they do, through a mutual friend's careless comment at a barbecue, that he is stretched thin to make that payment. That he bought the look of a rival on an installment plan, 3 years of monthly proof that he's doing better than he actually is, and the look is quietly costing him the actual arrival, delaying it, maybe by years, maybe permanently. Every month, a piece of his real freedom drives out of his account to keep that shine in his driveway, to keep the verdict favorable. You could tell him, you could say, the car you just leased is the exact thing standing between you and the freedom you think it represents. You could explain that the tired paint and the little dent on the door beside his are worth more, genuinely, mathematically, provably more, than all that German shine put together, that the dent has quietly out-earned his lease every single month since he signed it. But he's in the part of the story where the billboard still feels like winning, where the verdict still feels worth the payment. And nothing you can say will move a man out of that part of the story a single day before he's ready to leave it on his own. You know this because you were in that part of the story once too, with your own smaller version of the shine, and no one could have talked you out of it either. So you compliment the car, because that's the kind thing to do, and the quiet thing to do, and the two are usually, conveniently, the same. And you drive off in your disguise, and you carry for a block or two the small familiar ache of watching someone you know pour real money, money he doesn't have to spare, into the exact performance you spent a fortune escaping. You park the old car in its usual spot outside your unremarkable house. The dent catches the late light for a second, a small silver flash where the paint wore thinnest, and somewhere tonight a valet will judge this car, and a stranger at a light will dismiss it without a second thought, and a neighbor will feel a little sorry for the man who drives it, and every single one of them will be doing precisely what you designed this car years ago, standing in a different lot with a different decision to make them do. You take the disguise as the win that it is. You've never once regretted the dent, not even the day it happened, not even now. The knowing doesn't make the car any newer, and you wouldn't want it newer, not really, not even if someone offered. The dent stays, the paint stays tired. The engine will start tomorrow the same way it started today. First try, no drama, no audience, no verdict being delivered to anyone watching. Somewhere this week, someone is going to spend money they're quietly stretching to find on a machine that was built from the ground up to be seen, and you're going to pass them in 12-year-old silence and understand something they cannot yet afford to understand, something it took you your own version of the shine and years of quiet correction to learn, that the loudest car in the lot almost always belongs to the person carrying the least, and the quietest one, the one with the dent, sometimes hides everything. So here's the question that now belongs to you. If the disguise works so well that the entire world underestimates you every single day for the rest of your life, who exactly were you ever trying to impress? And what did all that quiet finally let you keep?